Alright, so I figured I'd give a quick review now that I've had this Mauser Cab on my 1025 since October, and it's currently March. Been a pretty weird and crappy winter over here in Michigan. Not much snow, but just enough to make everything super muddy. So I haven't got to really try out the Snowblower and stuff as much as I'd like. But I've had a chance to have this out there in some days where it's been as low as minus 14 degrees. And it does do a pretty good job of heating up the cab. Enough that you don't need a jacket until you open up the door. So there's a few differences on this one than probably some of the other ones that you've seen on this 1025 in general. And I'll show you those here too in this little video to give you some other ideas. But this Mauser Cab comes standard with basically what you see. Comes with the mirrors, you get the front windshield wiper, the back one is optional. The lights up on top, believe it or not, are actually come from the fender. So if you've had the other ones, basically, or the 1025R, you know, they got these little lights down here, and they basically will move those up to the top, your low work lights. If you come in here, you basically will see that right here you got your handles, one on each side. You can flip these up, and the hydraulic hoses are actually in the way, but it'll basically go up about they say close to 90. Is pretty close. One thing to be aware though, if you have the front loader and you're working with it, you got to pay attention when you have that up that you don't hit the glass with the loader and basically shatter it. I've heard a couple of horror stories on the internet, so. And I can definitely see how it could happen. If you look up here, I think you've probably seen before, this is your shade, standard sun. Shade comes with it. If you look right here, this is your dial between, you're basically going from just taking air outside to applying the heat. And if you look right up here on both sides, it's got your air filters. You just basically take them out and wash them or blow them out, but it basically will draw air from outside, heat it, and then put it back in the cab. Or if you turn the heat part off and just use the fan, it'll just basically cool it the same way. You got your fan, you got basically low, high, off. That's your wiper. Click it once to turn on, push it to basically use the sprayer. This is your cab light. If you come over to the other side over here, you see the back work light. If you had a strobe light, it'd probably be over here too. A couple of other options that they can put in there. The speakers are in the back here. And if you come down over here, there's your radio. So, would I have gotten it again if I did it? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of nice, but it is, you get to turn it up pretty loud to hear it when the tractor's really going, like if you're going to mow or whatever. Difference as far as sound dampening, I do have a decibel meter, and it's right around 9.5 decibels less with the cab than without the cab. I wish I had shot the video before I had the cab put on with the decibel meter. And I could probably shoot one afterwards at a later time if anybody actually wanted to see it. If you look down here, pretty much everything else is the same. They do put this on here for your lock your differential. You get the nice little rubber floor mats. You know, they do put this right here, which can come off. If you do want to take these panels off, you basically will pull this off. And there's some screws, and this whole thing will slide over. So, it's I'd say it's probably about 95% airtight. You do get a little bit of air down here. Of course, you're gonna have stuff there, but you don't notice it. As far as messing with the heat, you know, you do have this here. Everything else is pretty much about the same for the controls. I did have Mud Customs actually build me this step, custom made. I took his existing one and basically told him I want it, and so he does sell these now. They work great. I think he said they're good for about 500 pounds, and I believe it. It does not budge, and it makes it a lot easier getting in and out of the cab, especially if there's a mower deck underneath. If you look here, your seat, I actually added the cover on there before I even got the cab. They gave you a little bit of pouch back here. You can't put the toolbox on no more. You just basically crack these if you want to open up the back window, and that goes up about 9 degrees. That's basically your fill for your hydraulic. Pretty much everything else is about the same. Let me show you a couple other little things. I basically, for the snowblower, I have got it on eBay. Seen a couple other guys that have it, the little chute actuator. And basically what I've done is I put the switch right down here. Complete kit. Sold everything. Comes with the electrical and every, all the plugs. Got a nice little end cap that goes on the end of it, so that the wire doesn't get basically corroded and stuff during the summertime. They're not using it. But pretty much, you'll see probably, like I said, they moved these lights up. They put these little blocks in here to cover it, but it's still here. The one thing I can say is with the front loader control, or the control valve, is with this cab on, and if you put your hand over it and you go all the way over here, you actually hit the glass. There's not much room. So I basically ended up loosening the bolt and then spinning it in a little bit. Something to think about if you do get this. So, but I mean, all in all, I've been pretty happy with the cab. Definitely nice to keep you out of the weather. But some of these other little features I've had, I guess these doors, you just basically take the tension off it, lift this up, and you can take the doors right off. So let me, so if you want to take them off during the summertime, you can't take this cab off. So some other things I've had done is I added this quick attach, or single point. And nice thing about it is that I can basically take it off with a load on. So if I had the front loader lifted up or whatever, all I got to basically do is push the button, and there you go. It's disconnected. Whether it's you don't have to turn the machine off. You just basically do that and you're good to go. And you just put it back on. I mean, it's just lifts, drop it back in. So, and you can basically, like I said, you don't have to turn the machine off to swap stuff out no more. It's kind of nice. Now, the main reason I got this is because, believe it or not, I actually do. There we go. I actually got these. Basically reroutes the mid-control level to rear hydraulics. One of the things I did do, there's a bracket that's on the back. When John Deere sells this as a kit, the dealer installs it, they'll actually put it on the back here, so these will stick back further. But the downfall is, if you try to hook hydraulics up to it, this is in the way. So I flipped it the other way, and now it has plenty of room. But like I said, all in all, it's nice. The reason I got that is because I have this rear ditch mower. So basically it'll basically cut from anywhere from 90 degrees straight up to minus 60 degrees, and then it basically will offset all the way off to the right side of the tractor. You can get one of these. This is a, I think it's a 53 or 54 Nova tractor. It's one of the really the only ones out there that are rated for the horsepower that our tractors put off, these 1025Rs, and also makes the weight requirement. It's basically about 613 pounds on the rear, and they have a 46-inch one, a little bit smaller, which will take you down to, I think, 580 pounds, but the 3-point lifts it up. The last inch, you do have to have it at least half, the RPM's up at least halfway to get the last half inch, but it does lift it up. Haven't had a chance to really use it because, you know, I got it just over the past winter here. But it's a pretty well built unit. But as you see, you basically got to have the additional hydraulics, and that's why I did it. And I didn't want to have to, by default, when you actually have this rear hydraulics set up from John Deere, is you have to either plug the front or plug the back in. And with the cab on there, as you know, it kind of sucks getting to all that stuff. So I basically teed them off, and if I want to use the back, whether I got a loader on it or not, basically just pop it up, basically deactivates it. I'm not done rerouting that. I'm actually waiting on a few additional hydraulic connectors that haven't shown up. That will basically get this from this way to being straight down. It just doesn't have the angle right now. So then I'll finish retying that up. When I do get the mower deck back on there, I'll take a measurement and probably get 1.5 or 2 inch spacers probably on this too. With the ditch mower, it does setting it all the way off to the side. And I'll shoot some videos this summer when I get to use it. The tractor's still pretty stable. And you do have to have some weight in the front. So either leaving your loader on, which I can do with that, or I can basically put the suitcase weights in the front. But you do definitely need weight in the front. But I do think part of the reason why it is as stable as it is because that cab adds about 400 pounds to the weight of the tractor, and I do have these tires loaded, which is I think 80 or 88 pounds each. Other thing to also think, if you have your tires loaded, have metal valve stumps put in. I had the standard ones, and ironically, in December, just before we got a major snowfall, one of them blew out. And of course, you know, you get the rim guard, which is basically beet juice, made a mess. So I had to take it over to the dealer, and they did put new valve stems in there, and they took care of it. But if you read the actual directions, or I should say the warning labels with the rim guard, they do tell you to make sure that those valve stems are rated for both air and liquid, so gas and liquid. And the rim guard, basically with the regular default valve stems, believe it or not, the beet juice will actually dissolve the contact cement, because that's basically the whole core what blew out of it. So if you do get your tires loaded with beet juice, I would recommend doing that. Make the dealer do it. I wouldn't expect you to have to pay for it. You're paying, usually you have to pay to have them loaded, so but just be aware of that. So as far as cost for the hydraulics and this, I actually got lucky, and someone actually posted on Facebook and got a hold of this for about 400 bucks. And then I was able to get a second one of these, which I can use for the other one, for both the, the snowblower or the blade, whatever one I want to run. I got an eBay for another 200 bucks. So it's just an option. Actually made the bracket so it stays on, the loader's on and off. Yeah, it does stick out a bit. You're looking probably about 3 inches past what the mirrors are. Just got to be aware of that when you're operating on this side. But for me, convenience more than pays off. So, but those are some of the differences between what I have and the standard stuff. And these are nice. This is John Deere too. This is actually for 3 circuits. Only have 2. You can knock this out. There is a smaller one that you can get, but this is what I was able to get the good deal on, so that's what I got. This is actually designed to run even bigger tractors, I think all the way up to the 8 series. But it is nice, and it makes things a lot easier. So I do have pretty much, as you see, the standard mid-mount mower, the rear back, the box blade front. Right now I have these pallets, forks on this, and I just got this WoodMaxx wood chipper. Haven't had pretty much as you see right here, with the exception of this being turned the other way, is how it's basically gets shipped to you on this pallet, fully assembled. They just have cardboard and then they have it plastic wrapped. But looking forward to getting this. One thing that this one is, it's got the variable rate hydraulic feeder on this wood chipper, and they tell you to basically use 15W40 oil only, not hydraulic oil for this. There's another one out there, man, I can't think of the name of it. It's still wood something, but it's not WoodMaxx. You've probably seen their stump grinder that they have for the 1025R. Theirs uses hydraulic, but that one has belt drives and it runs the hydraulic pump at higher. This is basically PTO straight through. Runs the, don't quote me, I think it's 125 or 135 pound flywheel. Shaft goes right on through to the hydraulic pump, which uses the oil, and they basically recommend using 15W40 diesel for a diesel engine. You can use the other stuff, but a couple of the salesmen I've talked to, he says really just spend a couple bucks more, get the diesel, and it'll pretty much last for almost forever. But it does seem like pretty well, nice unit. When I get to use this, I'll shoot a couple of videos. Same thing when I get to use this mower. I'll shoot a couple of videos for that. I'm waiting for it to warm up enough that I can actually turn the water on outside again. I can wash all this stuff down. But that's pretty much about it. It's been a good tractor. I got really no real complaints. If anybody has any questions, you want anything else, specific shot or photos or price list for the hydraulics, I can get you the part numbers and links to the sites or whatever you need. Just leave me a comment or whatever. Always more than willing to help anybody I can. Anything other than that, I will shoot videos later.